Afternoon of football. Liverpool 3, West Ham 1. Chelsea lose again. They lose again. No goal scored for Pochettino's men, and a North London derby to savour, remember, feast upon. So much to delve into today on the Full Fan Highlight Show. The main focus, of course, is the North London derby. We're touching on Chelsea, and we'll be touching on Liverpool later on in the show. More in-depth look at those other games on the Top 6 show tomorrow as well. But stay with us. The North London derby is where we're beginning today. And there was a lot of big predictions before this game. There's a lot of Spurs fans that came on the terrace and said, we will beat Arsenal. We will take them apart at the Emirates. There was gooners such as Egal saying this will be the easiest North London derby Arsenal have ever had. I predicted how the game kind of went is what I thought would happen. Spurs would be good. They'd be in the game. I thought they'd at least score a goal, but I thought Arsenal would have a little bit too much for them. But injuries massively cost Arsenal in the end today. I'll come on to Spurs in a minute, but the injuries for Arsenal, Partey already being out, Declan Rice going off injured was really a big hammer blow for them as well. And having no Martinelli and no Trossard, they really struggled in the latter stages of the game to control it and be able to penetrate and create those chances. And you saw that today. And we've seen with Man United, we've seen with Chelsea, we saw with Liverpool a few seasons ago, we saw with City 3 or 4 years ago. When you lose 3, 4, 5 of your genuine first team starters and game changers, it makes a big impact on you. So they were really damaged today, Arsenal, by that. When it comes to Tottenham, they also had, I wouldn't call it injuries, but as soon as Son and Maddison went off, it didn't look like they had a catch chance in hell of winning the game. The quality of those two was absolutely phenomenal. And I still think that's one thing both clubs have got to work on over the course of the next few transfer windows, is increasing that strength in depth. But I will come on to Tottenham properly in a moment. With Arsenal, look, they were the better team for that first 35 minutes. What Saka was doing to Odegaard was illegal in 36 different countries and every state in America. It was a violation. That young man grew into the game. Saka, for me, best performance from him individually this season. If some of these fellow attackers were at his level, it would have been a very, very different game. I thought Rice in the first half before he got injured was absolutely phenomenal in the middle, was really stopping for large parts of the game James Maddison. Although he did, of course, brilliant for the goal. The way he wriggled away from Saka with that low center of gravity, cut the ball back into Son. But Arsenal had a lot to be encouraged about. But they came out in the second half and they kind of started as they were in the majority of the first half, where they were the most dominant team. They created a chance. And I know this caused a lot of debate, and we'll be talking to the panel about this later. Was it or was it not a penalty? We have seen Romero get away with one of these already this season against Manchester United. But this time VAR for me did its job. This whole, is it in a natural position or not? Listen, we've had this debate. We saw Christian Eriksen concede one the other day when his arm was in a natural position. When you're jumping and twisting at the same time, your arms are going to go out like this. So we're either giving them or we're not. There was a very similar penalty given yesterday in the Premier League as well, to which I think Luton got a penalty and scored from. So to me, it was a penalty. There's no doubt about that. But this was where I was so impressed with Tottenham in this game. And they demonstrated such impeccable mental strength to be able to bounce back, not just from the first goal, but the second goal as well. And yes, it was good pressing from James Maddison, but it was more so a mistake from Jorginho. He got the ball caught up in his feet, then he got pressed. They pounced on it. Between Maddison and Son, they kept their cool and they made it 2-2. And I think Arsenal will be kicking themselves. Yes, they had some big injury problems today, with Trossard and Martinelli and Partey missing from the starting lineup, and then losing their best holding midfield player in Declan Rice. Those 4 players being missing would damage people, and Spurs fans would agree. If they didn't have Son available, Maddison available, Basuma available, and Romero available today. So you get those 4 core players to their team. I don't think any Spurs fan would be as confident as a performance. So you've got to give Arsenal some leeway there, as all of our clubs ask for and request during these times. But Arsenal will be disappointed. They will be genuinely disappointed with the fact that they've had that mental lapse very close to half-time on the first goal and then just after scoring. And they're typically a team that has done that on a number of occasions where they've conceded and gone straight up the other end and scored. So for me, Arsenal, look, I'm not taking anything away from Tottenham, and I'll get into them in some detail soon. But Arsenal threw this away today. We know injuries cost them, but I still think they should have had the mental strength, the calmness at home, to relax, get through that 5-minute period after scoring that goal, and I think they would have won the game. When it comes to Tottenham, though, listen, I don't know what else to say other than, and maybe this is the biggest compliment I've paid Tottenham since they got to the Champions League final. I was in awe of them today. They had great spells in the game where they moved the ball impeccably. They played with great bravery, and they were brilliant at times. Absolutely brilliant at times. And what I really liked about Ange Postecoglou was his relaxed nature on that sideline. He was relaxed, he was calm, and his team embodied him so impeccably well. And I don't know how he's done this. Some will say it's training, drills, and ability. I believe it's more the mentality element. He's keeping the team playing almost pressure-free. I don't know how he's doing that, what he has said. I would love to be on the fly on the wall in that dressing room. But Spurs today looked tough. Spurs today looked on it. Spurs today looked like I haven't seen Tottenham this good in a long time. And there's a long way for this team to grow, a hell of a long way for them to go, because we're only going to judge them as a successful team when they're winning trophies. That's how every successful team with billionaire owners and hundreds of millions of pounds of income is judged. And that's no dig, it's a truth. But Spurs today, great style of football, wonderful attitude, never say die attitude. The manager, look, I can understand why Spurs fans have fallen in love with him so goddamn quickly. They're building something that looks very nice, that if they keep investing in, and as long as the fans maintain a standard to get back to winning trophies or try to start winning trophies again, as they did in yesteryear. Don't get it twisted. Spurs of old used to win trophies. If they push to get back to that point, there could be something special brewing here. Early days, but I was in awe of mainly their attitude. The football was great, but it was the attitude. The football doesn't work without the attitude. And it was absolutely impeccable as far as I was concerned today. I think they should be thoroughly impressed with themselves. In terms of players, look, Maddison's going to get plaudits. He was phenomenal today. Son, deadly in front of goal. I was actually really impressed with Basuma, though. Basuma really stood out to me today in terms of the way he grew into the game. I thought the first 30 minutes, I thought he was fairly anonymous. Odegaard winning that battle, and he just got better and better and better throughout the course of that game. And he suffered with a fair amount of criticism last year that was, fair, absolutely fair criticism, because so I'm just sharing the link here with someone to come onto the show. He came up with a small price tag, but with a big reputation, and he just didn't deliver. But I thought we saw how good he is today. And Spurs, look, as a Man United fan, this is a good result, because all these teams are fighting for top 4, and I want them all dropping points. So I kind of got the result I wanted today. I predicted a 3-1 win to Arsenal. That's 4 goals. I got that bit right. It was close, and it could have gone either way. However, I did think in that last 10 minutes, I did feel like neither team were really trying to win. They were trying not to lose. And sometimes that happens in these big top 6 clashes where teams go, look, if we nick it, we nick it. But let's not go gun-ho and leave ourselves exposed at the back and lose now and taste that sense of disappointment. But overall, look, Spurs will be the happier team because they were away from home at the Emirates. First points since 2019, a stadium they've only won at, I think, once in nearly 20 years. Arsenal will be disappointed with those mental lapses after scoring the goals, and there'll be concern over the injuries as well. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. There'll be some concerns around Declan Rice. How bad the injury? How long is he going to be out for? All of this they'll want to address and look at and delve into, I'm absolutely sure. But I want to get your opinions. I want to know what you all think in the comments section below. hit the like button for us as well. Please make sure you're subscribing. We are touching on Chelsea during this show, touching on Liverpool as well. Panel coming out soon. I don't know how long we'll be live for. It's going to be a while. No one's watching the next game, are they? So stay with the... Why didn't they spread the games out today and put a proper one on late? I can't... Honestly, that's another thing. That's another thing. I was trying to watch 3 games at once. It was so hard. The one I ignored the most was Liverpool because I knew they were going to win. Hater here when it comes to that. When we look at Chelsea, and I need to speak on Chelsea before we bring out our panel today. And of course, your super chats, we will come to all of your super chats. Do not worry. You are actually our priority. The panel I like hearing from, but I'll shut them all up to hear your super chats. Don't you worry about that, my people. Chelsea. They're in crisis. We've got the league table up, as you can see there, and I'm going to scroll down now so you can see Chelsea. There they are in 14th. 14th in the league. Yes, they're 4 points above relegation, and they won't get relegated, in my opinion. But that is now 39 points in their last 38 games, which means they're tracking towards just about surviving in the Premier League again. It's 3 matches with no goals in the Premier League. And their run of fixtures is getting tougher and tougher and tougher. Tougher and tougher and tougher and tougher. They've got to go away to Fulham. Hard place to go. They also have to do that now without a right back, as Gusto was sent off. And for me, I believe a correct decision. He isn't completely lunging, but that is a leg breaker. That is a red card without a shadow of a doubt. I'm not saying there was intent, but the law doesn't state intent is needed. But they now go into a hard game away from home against Fulham. I think they're away to Burnley, and then they go on a run of fixtures that include Tottenham, Man United, Manchester City, I want to say Brentford, and it could be Newcastle in there as well. And this is a scary, sobering thought for the Chelsea fans. Yes, it's the beginning of the season. We shouldn't take the league table too seriously, because if you look at Man United, you know, have gone away to Spurs and away to Arsenal, and we've played Brighton. Some teams haven't even had that level of challenge yet, as an example. However, Chelsea have played some difficult teams. Arsenal have played some difficult teams, and it equals itself out. However, the sobering factor for Chelsea fans is in 2 to 3 games, we're 25% of the way through the season. 25%. If you walk into that 25% mark on 5 or 6 points, you are going to struggle for the remainder of the season because you're always going to be playing with the desperation to win. And no matter what sport you play, football, rugby, if you're a fighter, if you fight or play desperate, you leave that chin exposed and you get sparked out. They've got to find a way to turn this round. They are hurting these young kids by continuing to play them when they're not performing. And look, there'll be some good metrics today. I'm sure. I haven't looked at the stats breakdown. I was watching the game. But the last time I looked at the stats, I think it was half-time, and both teams had the same amount of shots. Same amount of shots on target. Chelsea probably had more of the ball up into the red card. They probably actually had more shots than Villa, maybe up into the red card or after. That was I was watching it about 60%. And there were some good moves from Chelsea, some good play from Chelsea. But they're eunuchs. They're eunuchs. They're eunuchs. They're not going to they don't penetrate. They're eunuchs. They stay flaccid. It is friend zone football. Puff on puff, and they can't blow the house down. All the graft, all the banter, all the chat, all the money spent. They don't even get a kiss on the cheek at the end of the night. And I feel sorry for Chelsea fans. I know a lot of rivals won't. A lot of rivals won't give a damn. They'll say, so what? You deserve it. They deserve it. Arrogant. Won it for years. Plastic club. I get it all. There's a lot of Chelsea fans that love this club, whether it's been for the last 20 years or the last 70, 80 years of their life. And they deserve better. And I really felt that Poch was going to be able to get the best out this young group. Something isn't right at the club right now. Again, I know they're young, but there are other squads that are in and around the same average age as them. Brighton's is pretty young. I know Arsenal's is young. There's quite a few young teams moving the ball better, scoring goals. Genuinely. They're in bona fide trouble as things stand right now. They really, really are. Jamie here says, you can talk bad about Chelsea, but always turn a negative Arsenal result into a positive. Bro, Chelsea have got 39 points in their last 38 Premier League games. Comparing that to Arsenal dropping points in a North London derby, still having had an impeccable start to the season, started their Champions League campaign off on a high. You're comparing a piece of chalk with a piece of cheese. I'm being honest. Chelsea fans have to be honest here. I'm not saying they can't turn it around. I'm not saying you sack the manager right now, but serious questions have to be asked. And I think people like Don that go on like, we're okay, we're in a good position, it will be okay. I think you're burying your heads in the sand. You've got to challenge this. Don't abuse, but challenge. I'm going to start going to some of these super chats now, people. Panel coming out very, very soon indeed. This here comes from Anthony, who's an Arsenal fan, says, we were shocking in the second half. Jorginho was horrible. I've got a timestamp when I've done this so people can see their super chats. People like to watch it back. Sorry. Georgie was horrible. We really missed Martinelli and Trossard. When Rice came off, our midfield couldn't hold the ball. Horrifying. I agree. 110%. You're bang on. The title race is over. Curtain closed on Arsenal's season. Being written off that early. What they have to top now? 4 points off the top, and you're writing them off. Interesting. The disrespect Spurs have been getting all week. Listen, go back and watch my preview. I do believe Arsenal are clear of them. Overall this season, I think Arsenal will finish significantly ahead of them. Somewhere between 5 to 10 points. But if you listen to what I've actually right now they're in my top 4. Spurs, I think they've been brilliant. I really do. I don't think predicting Arsenal to win was disrespectful. And I know you're not attacking me. I think what Egal has done is upset them football gods again by saying it will be the easiest North London derby in the history of North London derbies. And when will man learn? Where is the arrogance now? Terry, send me the link, please. We'll definitely get that out later to you, bro. We'll get that done into the comments section. Arsenal riddled with injuries, a day of poor subs. Antonio, we talk on the field. Yeah, Antonio, man. Should have kept that mouth button, football gods. The Arsenal team ain't beating City to the title. It will be wrapped up by the end of January. Well, as I say, I predicted City to win the league this year. Don't want to be that guy, but these injuries are killing us. Timber, Partey, Rice, Martinelli, Trossard, plus maybe Saka. Spurs played well. Arsenal sloppy. Injuries do play a part. Listen, this is why rival fans just sometimes stop bantering and be normal. I tweeted last week, Man United had 12 players out the other day. 50% of what would be our starting 11 are out injured. And people are like, but you've not been good this year, have you? Yeah. Look what happened to Arsenal when they lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of their first team players. They drop off a little bit. And Arsenal are a better team than we are. It happens to everybody. Get these injuries, it hurts you. Unless it's as simple and straightforward as that. Pochettino, dead man walking, is what Kingsley says here. They're turning day by day by day. I told Arsenal they were cocky. Karma did his work, is what Honesty says. Arsenal riddled with injuries and poor subs, is what Oppa says. I'm not going to have the injury excuse for Arsenal. We also lost Johnson, Son, and Maddison. They needed a dodgy pen and an own goal. We cut them apart, is what Joshua says here. Listen, you did cut them apart at times. They cut you apart at times. As a neutral, Josh, mate, I loved it. I was actually gutted when it got to the last 10 minutes. I was like, come on, man. I could do with another hour of this game. It was amazing. Jorginho needs his contract shredded by the morning, is what Garrett says here. Wow. We've got injuries as well. Would have snapped their hands off for this 2 hours ago. No issue with the pen. Was more worried about that potential James Maddison ACL. Yeah, when his leg went back, it reminded me of Zlatan Ibrahimovic when he did it. And I was like, oh, poor lad. Imagine the ACL goes now. But he looks okay, to be fair. When he ran around, and you can't run around with no ACL. I don't know who's the next manager for Chelsea. Potch out in October is what Dyke says. I've got no idea who they would deploy. I've not got a thought on it. Terry, you got it wrong. Ball to hand, not hand to ball. But ball to hand and not hand to ball is not part of the law, my friend, so I can't have it wrong. It's not part of the law per se. Well, they again, because most of the handballs that are given these days are not somebody putting their hand out to touch it. For me, that was handball. Saka should teach Rashford look how much he runs, defends, and passes. He is a team player. Our wingers walk shameless for 350k a week. It's a disgrace. Yeah. Shit on Rashford. Might as well today. Arsenal are officially ref team. Arsenal are officially ref team. Last year, Gabriella handball against Liverpool did not get given, where you at Egal come outside with that arrogance Nunes goal. Yeah, he did well today, Nunes. Can't even celebrate Kai Havertz 007, the bum. Oh, did Kai Havertz hit 007 today? Jeez, I didn't know he hit 007 today. Nketiah should have been off. Nketiah should have been off for that foul on Vicario. No, not for me. He did, if the studs catch that leg, yes, but they didn't. So I'd say yellow was probably just about right. Arsenal deserved a draw with shit today. They weren't good in possession, couldn't finish, and didn't keep defensive shape. Get better on to the next is what Carl says to us. Man United versus Spurs, same hand, no penalty. Arsenal got it. But look, so I'm keeping the same energy. I said Man United was a penalty, and if I think that was, I can't say this isn't. That would make me a hypocrite. I think both were penalties in my view, and the right decision was made today. All Arsenal's goals had luck. Yeah, and one of Spurs' had a bit of luck. But listen, you force luck sometimes. It is what it is. It is what it is. Arsenal FC, a very, very good team, no doubts, but their fan base are way too arrogant. Michael Ramsey here says, Terry, you are talking rubbish because rubbish Arsenal fans say they have good squad depth, so no excuses today. Yes, but what other Arsenal fans say, whether on this panel or away from things, is no reflection of my opinion as a neutral to the situation. I think the injuries hurt them. I don't care if a million Arsenal fans think they have the greatest depth in the world. I disagree with that exaggeration. So again, I can't be wrong based on somebody else being wrong. That doesn't make sense. Unless you agree with them, therefore you would say I'm wrong. Otherwise, you'd actually agree with me then. So you can, I'm wrong, but you actually agree with me. Strange super chat, Mike. Blaming Egal on this draw. Football gods. Why? I told man about football gods. They're real, brother. Football gods are goddamn real. Chelsea have so much more pull than us, right? All that pull and can't use your pull to get them out the mud. Yeah, mate, that's a crazy one. By the way, this game is on Zinni, man. Going in the middle, leaving Kulo out wide. Ball keeps going there, and the whole team has to drop. I wish Timber was here, is what Chelsea says here. I'm an Arsenal fan, and I have to say, hats off to Spurs. They fought hard. Injuries killed us, but overall, both teams, I think, got what they deserved. I think that's a fair breakdown. City winning the league by December. Liverpool are only 2 points behind them. Listen, they're my favourites, but they're slowed down that. Otherwise, there's no point watching, is there? Grealish, Kovacic, Stones, KDB, Bernardo Silva. Yes, Terry. Arsenal have injuries, but so do City. Yeah. Was City playing Tottenham today? Who have City even played this season? Like, genuinely, who have they played before they had those injuries? Have they actually gone away to anybody hard yet this year? I'm not even trying to be salty. Like, genuinely, who have City played? Because I don't think you can compare. Listen, I wouldn't be saying the injuries are an excuse if they were at home against Arsenal or at home against Nottingham Forest. Or if Arsenal were away against Burnley. They're playing Tottenham in a North London derby, which is an equaliser anyway. Come on, Zane. Let's keep it 100 here. Makes me laugh. Everyone guessing on to Arsenal for drawing when Spurs would slap most of their teams right now. Still unbeaten. Suck it up, rivals. I like a bit of chest there. A bit of chest. Unpopular opinion, Liverpool have a better chance to win the Premier League than Arsenal. That's from a United fan. Listen, Liverpool are a weird team. And I mean this in a nice way. They still conceded, for me, too many open play chances today against West Ham. But they're winning. And if they if as that midfield starts to settle more, could improve. They're looking good. English media is silent about their favourite Poch, is what Nabil says. I bet they are. I'm keeping the same energy, Terry. We are challenging this season. Antonio in the mud. He certainly is. Poch will be sacked by Christmas. Could be relegated by November, by Christmas if they keep playing like this. Season over after 8 games. When do we play Luton again? That's from a Chelsea fan. A good performance. This is from Della Spurs. A good performance, but our game, despite the pressure and scoreline, which is positive. No goal from open play. Had majority possession. Great signs for the future. Arsenal title race over, is what's been said here. Terry, if Martinelli, Rice, Trossard play, we'd bag it. Yeah, I agree. I think you would have done. They weren't playing, though, and that's the nature of the beast. I agree. Potts rejected Vlahovic. If you can't cry, you laugh. Mad. The Rim says, Don Defo needs a lawyer for this nonsense. He ain't backstage yet, Don, either. I don't know where man is. I don't know where the man is. Egal's not backstage either. Don't know where man is. They're gone. They run off into the wilderness. The old man needs to go cough, cough, Silver. Yeah, did that on that goal. Big Steve was right. Liverpool are the main threat to City this year. Liverpool have not been the same. Sorry, Arsenal not been the same this season. Oh, Egal's here. Egal's backstage, my people. Brighton will get top 4 this year. Brighton could, They could. They really could. They look great. Arsenal got lucky. Can't even score from open play against Spurs. They did score from open play against Spurs. Saka's the own goal was from open play. The shot, I don't even think it was an own goal. I think it was going in, but that's from open play, my bro. Poch wanting to keep Mounts was the first red flag. I should have kept him. Our subs aren't good enough. We weren't good enough. Spurs played well. They were better. Fair play. No excuses. It is what it is what Tevin says. Poch and Bowley out. This is embarrassing. Not my Chelsea. It's what's been said here. Since Chelsea have so much more pull than us, let them use that pull to pull them out the mud. You super chatted it twice, but thank you, my brother. I appreciate the donation. I really do. By the way, keep smashing like buttons, please. And make sure panel coming soon. It's an epic panel as well. I don't even know if they can all fit on the screen, but we'll try. Even with those injuries, if Tony plays, we win. I hear you. That Jorginho sub was ridiculous. Abdullah, who would you have brought on instead? Let me know. The pre-game talk by Arsenal fans to dismiss Spurs like that was crazy. Spurs showed up at your ground in North London and cut you apart. Hold that is what AB15 says. Darwin is looking like the player we paid for. He's looking good. Very good. Why aren't injuries taken into account for Chelsea? They have been, but the slight difference is, you've lost at home to Forest. You've lost to Bournemouth. Villa at home, a bit more respectable. We went down to 10 men, but the teams that you've lost to, you should be beating. Slight difference there. Terry, get that Arabian Harry Potter Liverpool fan on. He said Spurs would be thrashed. I don't know who that is. Who's that? I don't know who you mean, bruv. I can't think of anyone who looks like Harry Potter. Give me his name. Questions need to be asked at Arsenal. Unacceptable. That's what Garrett says here. Arsenal fans hate. Sorry, Arsenal fan here. Tottenham played better than Arsenal. It's a big shout there, my bro. Jerome here says City played Newcastle and West Ham. Those are hard places. Come on, Terry. Again, I think the top 2 or 3 teams in the Premier League, when you go away to those clubs, you're still an outright favourite to win. And Newcastle have not been good so far this season. But fair shout. We keep winning 3-1. This is definitely on purpose. Oh, that must be a Brighton fan or a Liverpool fan. One of the two. Anyway, we still have Lo Celso and Bentancur to come back. Fair shout. Terry, Man City beat Arsenal with Rodri or not? Listen, they can do it. Of course they can do that because they're City. Look, we're going to come back to some more of these super chats. We're going to come back to some more of these super chats in a minute. I want to bring the panel out now to come and have their say, but let's get the likes past 2,000 while we are live. We're talking the North London derby first. We will be coming on to Chelsea. We will be touching on Liverpool, but they will all get a big review tomorrow on the Top 6 show. So I want all 7,000 to 8,000 of you back tomorrow night at 6 p.m. UK time. And something special to say, we've got a new sponsor coming on board soon, and trust me, you men are going to love it. You men, you're going to love it. And no, it's not free subscription to OnlyFans. It's better than that. So make sure you hit the like button, people. Time to bring out the panel. I'm very excited about this. We've got man like Egal. We've got Chatty Patty in the house with us. We've got Gunner Souls is here. We've got Nathan. We've got Harry. We've got Jacob. We've got Rack. We've got Ram. We've got Jason as well. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Hope you're all good. Everyone well?
We're all good.
Yeah, all good.
Good. I want to go to Egal first. Obviously, your team today just couldn't get the job done. Good start, but really kind of faded in the match. And Spurs gave a good show of themselves, bro.
Disappointing performance overall. I thought the first half we should have won the game. Based on our first half alone, we had enough there. We had two chances from Eddie, one chance from Eddie Nketiah, two chances from Gabriel Jesus on one-on-one. We should have had 4 goals in that first half. We were not clinical. On the other end, you look at Tottenham, they had a half chance with Son, clinical, finished that easy. And then you had in the second half, once again, we score and immediately we let them get back into the game. We only have ourselves to blame. And I don't know what happened with the injury at halftime or anything like that, but Jorginho came on and immediately gave away the ball for a goal. And it's like, when these things are happening, you're putting yourself under the couch for no reason. Individual errors costing us again. And I just don't know what to say right now. I left the game speechless. The only person who I could say leaves their head held high in this game is Bukayo Saka and William Saliba. I felt like the rest of the players were not up for it.
Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from there. Obviously, Patrick, we'll come back to you in a minute, Egal. A lot of Gooners are supremely confident before this game. Do you think you showed them what this new Tottenham under Ange is about?
Exactly. Sulz was talking so much shit this week. Egal, easiest North London derby in a long time. Had Brandon talking rubbish on another stream, Niger Englishman on this show. And I was like, wow, okay. And I said it, you guys are the favourites. You're a good team. I expect you to win. But we come and literally played you off the park. 53% possession, the same amount of big chances created. And what I loved about this game is that Big Ange didn't change his philosophy. We played our brand of football. At times it was scary playing out from the back, but these guys believed in themselves and they took the game to you on your own park. And we deserved our goals. We deserved it. No one can turn around and say we didn't deserve that. I'm ecstatic and I loved what I saw, man. I loved what I saw. Udogie wasn't good at first. Saka had him on toast. I rate Saka highly. I mean, he pulled strings and Udogie's a good player. But as Udogie grew into the game offensively, you could see what he's about. Maddison, the way he rolled Saka for that first goal and the assist to pull it back. Son, a lot of people have been talking a lot of rubbish about Son. That finish was exquisite. He cut across 3 defenders and put it the only place where he could score. And then obviously Maddison again, so much composure, wait a pass, perfect for Son's second goal. Sonny again, silencing all the doubters. Basuma grew into that game and you could see what he's about. When he got the ball on the half turn and dropped a shoulder and sent 2 of the Arsenal boys the other way, the whole stadium was like, wow, okay. So yeah, man, we deserved it. Vicario as well. And the thing is, this is to Spurs fans. Vicario got a lot of slander after the first game against Brentford. Today he was brilliant, man. He was assured, made some good saves, and he looks like a good keeper. Hats off to David Raya for that save, Brennan Johnson. The funny thing is, when we were linked to David Raya, and I told you guys he was better than Ramsdale, again, a lot of you lot are talking shit, and now look, surprise, who's starting for you guys. So yeah, man, surprise. But I love it, man. We come in and we silence you guys. The disrespect I got from you lot, considering we had a good start, was on the same amount of points, actually had a better goal difference. Yeah, we took it to you guys, played our brand of football, didn't put 11 men behind the ball, and we still came out with something. So I rate Big Ange highly for this. I rate the players, like Terry said, the mentality to stick through it. We had to ride a wave of pressure. Like what I said on Friday's show, I want us to ride the pressure, but also play our brand of football. At the end, we were under pressure, a lot of corners. Thankfully, we held strong, didn't concede. Romero, it is a penalty for me. I'm so confused what's a handball, what's not a handball. But if I'm being legit, the ball hit his hand, it's a penalty. But yeah, I'm proud, Terry, of what I saw today, and it gives me a lot of confidence for the rest of the season.
I bet you're proud today. Brandon joins us. I mean, you were very supremely confident. You had a lot to say. Pretty much wrote Tottenham off. What went wrong for you today? Was it overconfidence from Arsenal? Did the manager get it wrong, or was it individual players making poor mistakes?
I think it's a mixture of all of them, to be fair. I think you have to start with the players. I think, obviously we go 1-0 up. Gabby Jesus has that chance. Should be burying that, by the way. Should be absolutely burying that. The fact that he didn't just shows he's not a clinical striker. Eddie Nketiah has a chance. He should be burying that as well. And really and truly, we should be going in at half-time 3-0 up, 3-1 up, whatever. Game already done. And instead, we go in 1-1. We give a bit of a sloppy goal away. Had it not been for David Raya, we could have gone in at half-time, 2-1 down. And you come out in that second half, right, and he takes off Fabio Vieira, which I think, is the right decision. He was getting bullied in that midfield in the first half. And then, of course, Declan Rice being injured, that didn't help. But then, the penalty, I think that's very subjectual, to be fair, if I'm being completely honest. I think the only reason that I think it is a penalty is because had he not put his hand out, it was going in the back of the net. So he's basically stopped a goal from happening. But at the same time, what do they expect players to do these days? Like chop their arms off or something? Because for me, that's a natural position. So it's very subjectual. But then 30 seconds later to go and, give another goal away, that is absolutely unforgivable. And I don't know what the hell Jorginho is doing there. He's an experienced man, He's supposed to be, controlling the midfield, moving the ball. And he's dilly-dallying on it and getting caught out like that. For me, that is just unacceptable. Do you know what I mean? For an experienced guy like that. And then you kind of have to look at the manager, because he takes Gabby Jesus off, who I didn't think had a great game today, but he did cause a few problems. And he keeps Eddie Nketiah on for 100 minutes. That absolutely baffles me, because Eddie Nketiah was never in that game. He was never in that game. That guy ran around like a headless chicken today. He didn't look comfortable today. So for me, to take Jesus off and leave Eddie Nketiah on for 100 minutes, that's a really poor decision by the manager. That's a really poor decision. I think he should have brought on Emil Smith-Rowe sooner. I think Kai Havertz, when he came on, I thought he looked pretty decent today. I don't think he did a bad job at all. But aside from that, it's a mixture of all three things, bro. And I've got to hold my hands up, yeah? I ripped Tottenham off completely. I'm going to say right here, right now, that if Tottenham play that way for the remainder of the season, they will beat most teams. And I can sit here right now and say Tottenham will get top 4 this season playing like that, because I thought they was very, very good today. Very, very good. And by the way, to everyone who, was trying to get Vicario into joint 11s with and we was all sitting there going, what the hell are you lot smoking? That guy looks like a top goalkeeper. He's very comfortable on his feet, commanded his box really, really well. Bissouma, ran the midfield today. You have to just give credit to Tottenham. You really do, because I don't think it was great, but I do think that they was very good today.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. I think that's very fair in terms of the assessment of Spurs. I think they were very good today. There's no doubt about that. When it comes to the decision making that was being made there, Egal and Sulz, do you agree in terms of taking off Gabriel Jesus? I mean, Fabio Vieira was taken off. Really, I didn't actually think he was that bad in the first half personally, but they took him off. Do you think the manager made mistakes in terms of the substitutions that he made today?
100%. I don't know why he kept Eddie on. I felt like Eddie was more wasteful than Gabriel Jesus at times, and he wasn't really pressing in the first half as much. Fabio Vieira, you know what? I don't think he made a mistake in starting Fabio Vieira because of the way he performed in the previous couple games, so he earned the start. But when Kai Havertz came on, I did not see too much of a difference. I think the whole team in the second half dropped off. We did not look any better. As the game grew on, Tottenham looked like they were the team growing, and Mikel Arteta and the team didn't make any adjustments to fix that. And I want to know why Bukayo Saka was not running at his man. He was on a yellow card for majority of the game. He did not run at his man once. After he scored and he got a goal, but I expect more from Bukayo Saka because it seemed like every time he had a one-on-one opportunity, he was passing it back. We had that right hand on toast the first couple of minutes, and then they made an adjustment, and we didn't make our adjustments to match them. And really and truly, I'm not going to say Arteta got out-coached, but I'm definitely going to say they worked harder than us in the 90 minutes.
Do you agree with that, Sulz?
But the reality is this entire team, the managers, the players have disgraced us today. I don't care what anyone says. I've been saying it all fucking season. Bukayo Saka does not look like the same player. Not one of these players can walk out here with their heads held high. I don't give a shit. Not one. Not one today can sit there and go, I'm an Arsenal player. Disgraceful. The one game we asked you to turn up for is today. Turn up today at the Emirates. You turn up. Not one of them. You know what they should be doing? Fuck all the press conferences after the game. They should be heading right over to the training ground and training now. You don't go home. You ain't resting. You go to that training ground and you fix up whatever the hell we've been seeing this season. Every single game. It's not only today. It's not just today. It's all season. I have not seen the same mentality. They're a bunch of egotistical maniacs. They've got their money, they've got their contracts, and they're now dropping stinkers. It's flipping happened again. We've done it to Aubameyang, we've done it to Ozil. Odegaard signed a contract, drops a stinker. Saka signed a new contract, dropping stinkers. Martinelli, dropping stinkers. All of these man rights signed new contracts, which they deserved at the time, and started dropping stinkers. This is the one game we asked you to flip and turn up. And what do you do? What do you do?
But you're overreacting.
What do you do?
Saka was good today, no? How did he drop a stick?
Oh, well done. You scored a deflected goal and you scored a penalty. Well
He had
what did he do? Your man was on a yellow. Okay, as soon as that yellow card happened, the man stopped taking him on. Not once did he challenge him to go, yeah, I'm going to get you red carded. Both your DMs are on yellow cards. What did we do? We got, okay, you have the game. We won't even try and get a red card out of you. We won't even try and attempt to ask questions of the referee. You had 3 key players, right, on yellow cards, and then Romero near the end of the game. What do we do? And on to Arteta, right? Everyone knows I backed this guy from the very, very, very beginning. I'm not saying Arteta out, but serious questions have to be asked. What were you seeing? What did you see to go, Nketiah, you stay on? Oh, you're having a stink show. Carry on. Every single stinky player, carry on playing stinky, fam. We're not going to take you off. We're just going to reward you in more time. So Jesus comes off, fair enough, fine. You take Jesus off. He's had an injury. He needed to come back. Yeah? ESR's there. Kai Havertz is there. Jorginho's there. All of them bench players are your players. There's no goddamn excuse, right, to use that squad, to bring those players on, and to bring a change to this team. The entire team, including the manager, I'm saying it now, have disgraced us. Not one player I'm backing today. All of them get to the fucking training ground. I don't want to hear one player. And if one player fucking apologizes, I want that guy sold.
There's one player that I thought did a very good job for Arsenal today. And that's Saliba. He's the only one that can hold his head high. I don't ever want to hear anybody tell me that Romero is better than Saliba ever again. Yeah, facts. Because he is top. He's top.
The conversation was Romero over Gabriel, and for me, Romero showed. Yes, he obviously the deflected goal was unlucky, unfortunate. Maybe should have sorted his feet. The handball again, questionable. But Romero's a top defender, and
I thought Van der Ven was better today.
Yeah, Van der Ven was very good. And again, Sulz, I got 2 questions for you. How do you feel? Completely writing us off and 5-0, and then secondly, you put none of our players in your combined 11. Let me hear your thoughts on that.
I actually said I don't do combined 11s, right? That's first. Let's get that off. I've always said it. Egal knows this. Every time he asks me on his channel, I've said it. I don't do I said it against United. I'll do it against City. I don't do them. I don't like them. I just don't think. I think that
but why?
They're the most stupid concept to exist. Why the hell do I want a rival player in my team? Let's be real. Like, I don't give a fuck about your.
It's players. Not your team. It's combined.
I don't care. No, it's my team. You're asking me for my 11. My 11 is going to always be my players. Yes, I criticize them. Yes, I hate on them sometimes. Yes, I have agendas against some of them. But it's that family thing, innit? I still love them and I'm still going to back them. But the reality is, in terms of writing you off, I'm 100% wrong. You guys have definitely shut up your haters, right? Big credits to you, because Ange came out, spoke big. He backed his talk. You know, Son came out, said what he needed to say, backed his talk, got 2 goals, right? A lot of people, now I didn't hate on Maddison. I've never hated on him. I do think we should have signed him. But, you know, a lot of people did criticize him. Is he going to be a good signing? Whatever. You guys should, you know, they've shut the critics up there. Romero's the only question mark, really. Vicario haters should shut up. Udogie is a bit of a question mark, but he's young, so I'm going to let him off. I don't really care. Like, I'm not going to banter a youngster. It's his first season in the Premier League, I believe, so it is what it is. But in terms of writing you off, I apologize. You've earned respect because you've come there. You didn't go to plan B. You didn't go to plan C. You played the way you were saying. And Postecoglou said, I'm not going to change it. He didn't. He came to our turf. Right, and we're meant to be title contenders. We're meant to be competing for the title, and you've come and you've shown no respect to us, and that's how it should be. You should not be showing respect to the opposition. And I'll be honest with you, when Ange says he scared us, he scared those players 100%. They were startled. They had no answers to what you wanted to do. You did what you wanted, and that's how the game went.
Do you agree with that, Egal? Do you think Arsenal was scared of Tottenham today?
Scared of what? We're not scared of nobody. The reality is they played well. They caught us a little bit off guard. Good to the you got to give them credit. But no one's sitting here saying we're fearing our opponent. We weren't fearful. You didn't see a team that was backing down, that was scared. We gave them the ball, and you know what? Majority of the time they didn't do much with it. But when they did get their opportunities,
what did we do with it? We just passed it about, it around. And
you know what? We were wasteful. We were wasteful. They were clinical. You got to give it to them. And at the end of the day, it's a draw. And I felt like both teams at times could feel like they should have got the win. But first half was on us. Second half was on them.
Gal, are you going to do what Sulz did and apologize as well for being so disrespectful, or are you going to take?
What was I disrespectful about? I was giving you guys.
You said it was going to be the easiest North London derby, and you said it was going to be the easiest game of your season, and it clearly wasn't.
You know what? I was wrong about that. I did think you guys were gonna play at the halfway line and give us and play into our hands. You didn't play into our hands. You guys played well, and I give you guys credit there. But it's not a situation where I'm gonna sit here and say, oh, my prediction was wrong. Guess what? My prediction was based off what we've always done, and you guys still haven't come to our ground and beaten us. So
well, it was wrong.
But your prediction was wrong.
Your prediction was wrong. You don't have to sit here and say it. We can say
admitted that, but I said, guess what? At the end of the day, you still didn't come to our ground and beat us. So
can I just?
I mean, shout out Paul Merson, right? He said y'all were going to tear us apart, something like that. Shout out Paul Merson. Just want to say that off the top.
Hey, guess what? Everyone would have predicted us to beat you.
Well, I mean, everyone did, and everyone's wrong, Egal, just like you are. Everyone has to hold that. I heard Odegaard's a better creative attacking mid than James Maddison. Talk to me nicely. Look at the numbers. Also want to say shout out Boohoo Saka, crying all over the pitch, doing the James Maddison celebration. That was very cute. And it was really cute whenever James Maddison spun him around for that first one. So I just want to say shout out to Boohoo as well. Again, Odegaard, this conversation needs to be put to bed. Everyone yesterday, this whole week, telling me Odegaard's better based on my feelings. Odegaard's better based on my eyes. Statistically, he's not better. Today, eyes, statistics, all agree he's not a better player than James Maddison. James Maddison playing with a hyperextended knee, mind you, but that's neither here nor there. In regards to the referee handball, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, hit his hand. That's a handball. So I'm not too upset about it. I never like to sit there and look at a ref and say, oh, he made a decision that therefore affected the outcome of this game. There's 90 more minutes outside of a referee's decision to impact the game. And I thought that we did that well. Goodbye, Egal. But I just, really, it's interesting to me. I did say, what was it, last week after we put the work on Sheffield, I said, we're not going to go into Emirates and we are not going to lose. I guarantee it. Everyone said, oh, he's crazy, he's waffling, oh, this, that, and the other. Well, talk to me nicely. How you feeling today? I just want to say the mood was really low in the beginning of this show. You went to Arsenal fans and they were all like, oh, I'm sorry. It's just, yeah. Patrick, how we feeling? I'm feeling great. I'm still riding on cloud. Y'all almost brought me down off my cloud because y'all were it just sounded so depressing, man. I'm happy. I'm feeling blessed. I woke up at 5 a.m. to watch this match. And was I disappointed? Hell no. Ange Postecoglou showed up at the Emirates. And what did he do? He silenced the crowd. So I just want to say big up Moondog as well. They never know. And just come on. The touch. Bro, come up with your own celebration. That's all I'm gonna say. Because if you start doing that and then you end up with a draw, that's egg on your face. Honestly, also the own goal, that was off target, and that's why it was an own goal. So Bukayo Saka celebrating like he won the World Cup after a deflection off Christian Romero was actually hilarious. Then his second one, he's like, I'm on a brace, I'm running in the crowd like a loser. Boo-hoo, Saka was their best player, and he wasn't even good today. So they're lucky we didn't win. We let them have the ball the last 15 minutes there, and that's okay. Because, again, Ange Postecoglou is going to play the way he wants to play. We never stop, and that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So up the lads. Come on, you Spurs.
Yeah, Saka needs to start being original. We gave him a pass with the Rashford one when he did that because we're like, fair enough, other people have done it. But today, mimicking Maddison after our own goal and a penalty. Like, come on, man. And yeah, all this Odegaard Maddison talk, I rate Odegaard highly, but Maddison 2 assists and was fantastic. Look how he rolled Saka for that first goal. The weight of pass was brilliant, never wasteful in possession. Yeah, a lot of people need to eat some humble pie.
Harry, what do you make of that? Would you say that James Maddison is a better attacking midfield player than Odegaard?
This is going to sound controversial, but in all honesty, Odegaard is only good on career mode, and he's always only been good on career mode. On a real, Maddison is 100 times the player. All this slander about him, all this slander about us today, I just don't understand it. It's just like, we're the better team at the end of the day. Yeah, we've had a few bad seasons, but we're better than Arsenal, and I don't care what anyone says. Maddison is 100 times the player. He's proved it today.
Can I ask you a question? Why was it a draw, not a win?
Why was it draw, not a win? Because you just...
Now you're
getting lucky. You're just getting lucky.
The thing is, the reality is we lost today. The reality is we lost today. I don't even consider it a draw. I don't even care about it.
It was 2-2, so you didn't lose.
No, we lost. We lost. I don't care. We
know. Why does it feel like a loss?
That is how it is. We should not have even gone.
Like how you guys are moving.
What I'm going to say is we should be worried, because if Tottenham are doing that sort of thing to us at the Emirates, and they're 6 games, 7 games, 8 games in with a new manager, and we're in supposedly phase 4 of our 5-phase project, we should be worried, because let's be honest, let's be completely honest here. They come to the Emirates, they controlled possession for the majority of it. Okay, they didn't do too much with it, but no team comes to the Emirates and controls possession unless you're Manchester City.
But you also got to apply context to it as well, because that first half, you wouldn't say they dominated in the first half. It was in the second half when Rice came off. So let's also apply context to the situation. Yes, we have injuries. Yes, we played poor, and well done to Tottenham on the performance. But let's not sit here and rewrite it and get over emotional. Like, I can't lie, I was vexed coming on here first. But, you know, I've lived my anger out vicariously for all the other Arsenal gentlemen on the panel. And I kind of see things a little bit more clearer in reality. Let's keep it 100. That first half was, I wouldn't say it was even. I'd say we had the better of the first half.
Yeah, it was a good first half.
And then the second half,
we had 60% possession first half, by the way.
Right? No, they did. They had the better quality of chances.
Right, exactly.
He did.
And when you look at it, Basuma and whatnot grew into the game in that second half. Once the likes of Jorginho was on. So it's easy to come out here now after the game's done and be reactive and get angry about everything. But that wasn't how the game panned out. On top of that, you're looking at Spurs came out with their best 11. We've had a few injuries, albeit all top teams have to deal with it. But of course, that's not our best starting 11. Let's keep it 100. Like, with that space there, if you had a Martinelli on that left-hand side to exploit the space in behind, it could be a completely different result. Yes, I'm angry because it's Spurs. You always want to get 3 points. It's at home. It's what's expected, and it feels like an L. But then I just find it very reactionary on both sides. One saying, oh, all of a sudden James Maddison is better than Odegaard. Based on what, 5 games this season? Based on just 5 games this season that we're talking, because if we
his numbers have been better though. His numbers have been better. It's not just...
but Bruno, listen, but a lot of United fans will turn around and say Bruno Fernandes has some of the best numbers in the game. But if you ask a lot of them who would they take between Bruno and Odegaard, a lot of United fans prefer Odegaard.
Yeah, but a lot of those guys also thought that Andreas Pereira was going to be one of the best 10s in the world. So the Man United fans don't like Bruno. I wouldn't take their opinion seriously. They're mad.
If you're talking as a creative, as solely in a creative output machine, I would definitely say Maddison and Bruno are better in that regards. They're more output machines. That's not, in my opinion, that's not Odegaard's strong suit. But in terms of other facets of the game, there's lots of other facets of the game where Odegaard is a lot better. So it depends on what exactly your team requires.
Do you know the difference? Do you know the difference between Maddison and Odegaard? or should I call him Ozilgaard? Yeah, that guy goes missing in big games. Maddison doesn't.
Based
That's
on
it.
what? Based
What do you
on
mean
what,
based
though?
off of
Today-
what?
Such a reaction.
today,
They're
no,
everything
it's
you're
not.
saying.
No. Name me the last time Odegaard turned up in a big game,
Maddison
bro.
played over the course of his career so
Did,
far.
all right,
Not that
Chelsea,
many.
Tottenham last season away.
Tottenham last season away.
That wasn't a big game. Chelsea,
Hang on. Well, so Maddison for me, and I'm going to sound really controversial now. Maddison for me, who have Spurs played this season?
United, Brentford,
Burnley, Sheffield United.
Arsenal. Okay, so James Maddison's had 2 big games in his whole career. Because when you play for Leicester, there is no big game. In the year of the title race, yes, but he played big teams.
FA Cup final.
Won an FA Cup with them. Yeah.
Okay, FA Cup final, but again, we all know this. Let's not be disingenuous. The way all of our teams play against the Leicester is not how we typically play against each other, unless you're Man City. So there is a fundamental difference when the top 6 teams line up against each other, typically, versus when we all play Leicester. So he's had 2 big games, Maddison. And by the way, I thought it was good against Man United, and I thought it was impeccable today. So it's a very small pool of games, and that's not a dig at Maddison. It's just a reality. He's only just joined a big club, therefore he's only had 2 big games. But so far, he's 2 for 2 as far as I'm concerned. He's been phenomenal, but better than Odegaard. Look, numbers are important. There's no doubt. I do think the one thing with Odegaard that he probably needs to improve on is his output in these big games, because it is a key component of sensational players. Does that make sense? Like, you think about all the greats of all of our clubs, they do it in the big games as well, as an example. Although not at my club, we still hate Rashford, even though he scores against all the big teams. But anyway, I'm digressing. I'm getting myself in my knickers in a twist over something that doesn't really matter. I want to do some more of these super chats here because there's been a lot of them. I don't want to disrespect the viewers. Stop waffling. Bruno is clear. Never compare him, is what Nabil says. I like. Not everyone likes him though, but it's okay. No, I'd pick Bruno every time. My guy is what Tad says. These Spurs fans.
You weren't saying that against Bayern the other day, but
again. But who was saying that?
Well, I'm saying I see a lot of it on Twitter. You see it when I speak to United fans. When I speak to United fans, friends of mine, and we have conversations. There's a lot of criticism that goes out for Bruno. Not in terms of his actual...
Can I give you an example, though? There's a lot of Arsenal fans who see your club like Lee Gunner. Does that mean I can pretend that you share that opinion just because you're a Gooner as well?
No, but that's a fair point. But in regards to Bruno, there are aspects of his games where there are holes in his game. Creatively, as an output machine.
I'm not debating any of that. What I'm saying is, with the 2 guys that have super chatted and me that wouldn't do the swap, your argument to us can't be that ain't what other United fans say, because that's not all. It doesn't matter. Like that's what I'm saying. These Spurs fans talking mad. They drew against their midfield duo of Jorginho and Havertz, laughing my arse off. They ain't missing. They ain't missing so many first teamers like us.
I expect that kind of response. I mean, when your manager cries a whole 90 minutes about the ball going off of Pedro Porro, he's over there, ooh, throwing a fit. I've seen that man cry so much. I'm not surprised the fans cry with him because, I mean, Buhu Saka's their captain, isn't he? He crying just as much as the manager. It's like a ethos that he's building. I heard trust the process. I think the process is an emotional one because everyone can't seem to hold their cookies together. I don't know. And this whole argument as well about they dominated the first half. Patrick, I love you, bro. I'm sorry, but I disagree. Big chances, we had 3 to their 2. You look at possession, we had 60% to their 40%. You look at shots on target, the same. Shots, the same. So overall, statistically, we were better in that first half. The second half, most of their chances came after Son and Maddison got subbed off. So I know that a lot of people don't like statistics, and I like to come in and try to have 50% of both because your eyes will tell you one thing. The stats will either agree with you or disagree with you because, again, statistics don't care about my feelings, about my Tottenham bias. It doesn't care about any of that. So that's why I like to refer to stats when it comes to these kinds of things. Again, we dominated the game. We deserved the win, in my opinion, and I just think it's great.
Just to add, if Brennan Johnson was a little bit more clinical, that would have been 2-1.
This is first, it was his first start too. Let's remember he had the first 2 chances for us. It was his first start. It's the Premier League, first Premier League start for Tottenham, and then first North London derby. I mean, this guy, all the pressure was on him, and I thought he looked cool as a cucumber. Same thing with our manager. Again, I want to go just look at the body language of the managers the entire 90. Postecoglou, hands in pocket, cool as a cucumber. Arteta flying around, gesturing, get over here, let me go. Let's do another huddle.
Managers doesn't mean anything on the
The one who
pitch,
brought
man.
up
Like, come on.
Brennan Johnson's miss. Jesus missed the sitter as well. So like,
I didn't hear what either one of y'all said. Y'all were talking
I
at the same
said
time.
to the gentleman that brought up the Brennan Johnson chance, Jesus missed the sitter as well. So again, like when you talk about that first half and you're being objective,
And people picked Jesus in their combined 11 over Son. People said he's a better striker than Son. I know he played on the left wing today.
But that's not the argument. That's not the argument right here, right? I'm just talking about that game in isolation. That second half, you lot were the better team. We never had no legs. We dominated.
First half as well.
We struggled to find a rhythm. But in that first half, you can't tell me that you lot were dominating the game.
60% possession, that's domination of the ball. I don't know what form you want to look at it.
Possession doesn't necessarily mean domination. It's about where the ball is.
Possession, the same amount of shots on target, and more big chances created. How am I supposed to interpret that like y'all dominated the ball?
No. First half, they were the better team. Okay, you can say possession, but as I'm sure you know, because you sound like you know about football and you know about stats, you can't just pull out numbers. And yeah, okay, there is some context applied to it. Territorially, they dominated. They had the more meaningful possession. They looked the more threatening when they had possession. So I understand what you're saying, but a draw was a fair result. They had the better of the first half, I think, overall. Second half, you had the better of it, I think.
Well, that's an opinion. Again, my opinion is different.
It is an opinion, absolutely.
Yeah.
Makes sense. This super chat here from Anthony Zaguna says, here are the facts. Spurs fans keep saying they played well. We are saying we haven't been this bad in a long time, and still a draw. Levels Spurs fans.
What? That's nonsense. Utter nonsense.
Delusional.
Yeah, that's
why is it delusional, Larry?
The reason it's delusional. All right, look at it like this. Yeah, them 22 players get paid millions. And a Tottenham Arsenal game, no matter, everyone knows this, no matter the form, they have to perform. They're big game players. You think Tyson Fury goes into a boxing match and makes excuses? Oh, you have to perform. And if they're not performing, that's on them. That's on them. They played bad. They were bottle jobs in the game. They missed a lot of chances. Yeah, we missed one. The Richie shot at the end. He should have come on sooner, in my opinion. I feel like he would have been up for it. I know he's not very good, but you know, you have big game players that just love the buzz of it, the physical battle. He should have come on sooner. But yeah, I think it's on Arsenal, and I think you should hold your heads in shame, because it looks like you are. You seem like this is a loss. You lot have taken this as a loss. We're laughing, going, oh well, it is what it is. Everyone doubted us.
I think what the super chat was saying though, Harry, is you guys are celebrating a draw, where Arsenal fans are gutted at a draw, and they're saying that means they've got high standards than you. Is the message?
And it's a
draw away from
so
home against the Big Six.
Yeah, I'll take it any day. I'll take it any day.
I'm not celebrating the draw. We
You're not?
won that. Ange annoyed me at the end when he took both Maddison and Son off at the same time. Completely gifted at Arsenal and out. In that second half, we were dominating. We were even cashing them up high when they made the change in midfield. We were overrunning them, and Ange made the mistake. It should have been. We could have gone on and won that 3-2, maybe even 4-2. And Arsenal fans will go, well, we had the injuries, this and the other. None of you were saying about injuries were a factor all this week. Spurs, easiest North London derby. Not even non-Arsenal fans were coming in saying Spurs aren't a Big Six team, going to get slapped. It's going to be like a 5-1 and all this. And we heard it all week. And we were like, quite clearly, you haven't seen in depth of what Ange has been doing with his team. We're all a team in progress. Arsenal, look, with Jacob, the stats say that we had more of the ball. But
and then we created more big chances.
Yeah, Arsenal were the better team in the fact that they would look more polished.
Based on
doing this for 4 years, so it looks better on the eye. They were quicker in transition. They were able to get Spurs quicker. Spurs were trying to build confidence in having the ball and saying we aren't afraid to play out from the back. This is how we are playing under our owner, our boss. Sorry, and we showed that. We caused ourselves problems, and Arsenal could have easily gone 2-1 up with the Jesus. More for him for lashing it and doing that. It could have been 2-1 to us with Brennan Johnson if he had set himself properly and put the ball in the net, like without hitting his standing foot first, being 2-1 to us. But I'm taking that as a very well-deserved point for Spurs in the way we played, considering everyone everywhere saying Spurs were getting smashed this week. And again, Ange, absolutely love everything he's doing with Spurs, the confidence he's got in these players, that this team can't play this type of football. I think that's all gone out the window now. Your first big test, passed with flying colours. But again, I'll be critical of Ange. I think if he had not have taken Son and Maddison off and made changes to people that was on yellow cards and beefed it up that way, I think we would run out 3-2-4-2 winners. It's as simple as that.
Interesting viewers. Let us know what you think. This is clearly a dig at me. Arsenal are clear, not judging by that viewing. Spurs looks comfortable at the Emirates. Arsenal were poor for their standards, injuries or not. I'd agree with that. I think Spurs, I said in my opening sort of 10 minutes, I was in awe of Spurs today. They were fantastic. I'll always hold my hands up when I'm wrong. Because I'm a real man. The way Maddison ghosted Saka for the first Spurs goal was rude. No text, no call, nada. Come on, you Spurs. Oh, it was sensational turn. As an Arsenal fan, I'm kind of chill because if Teta does shit and gets sacked, we'll just bring in a better manager. The only way from Teta is up. So Arsenal fans, calm down. If we do shit, we are going to get a winning manager. Come on, you gooners, in coping right now. Listen, there's a fair amount of logic to that theory. Come on now, it was a draw with second choice players. I wouldn't go for who we played today. Subs versus starting first 11. These are facts. Guna back in her team there. This is Jerome. He says we played a very good team, but the real challenge is next week because we are playing a team that knows how to win the league and challenge City. Oh, it's Liverpool next week. That's going to be a very interesting. By the way, I did read. Just someone sent me a message. Newcastle were like 3 up in the first 30 minutes away at Sheffield United. Jeez, listen, these really bad teams are going to save Chelsea from relegation. I'm telling you. Now they are being humble. Where is the chest they had all week? Football gods hate overconfidence. I told you lot. I love how the football gods. I didn't have anyone else to hear that. It was in my house a lot. I love how everyone talks about it now. Take out the violins, people. They are turning on Super Arteta. I cut my hair. Says hi, Terry. Spurs look good. Arsenal were disappointing. Ajax final got cancelled, and hooligans just broke through the glass. Oh, it was 3-0 down. It got cancelled. They did. The club is on fire. Should do the same to the great. I can't advocate violence because I think I'd get arrested for that. I think it's actually against the law for me to do it. But they must be really desperate if they're setting the club on fire. My word. They were winning their league last year and they're setting their club on fire. Four Eyes needs to shut his mouth. Saka and Saliba were our best players. Basuma ran us. Arteta, still naive. We need to win every game until City. Who's Four Eyes?
I'm guessing that's me.
Might be you. You're the only one I can see wearing glasses who spoke on that bit. Like,
it could be Sulz.
It could be Sulz. Yeah, it could be Gunnar Sulz, to be fair. It sounds more like Gunnar. I'm here just to say, Egal, you were bullying Spurs fans yesterday like you were Real Madrid. Who the F are Arsenal, bruv? Deflate that chest, boy, is what's been said here. Jesus is still on limited minutes. Y'all doing too much with the anger. Y'all doesn't sound great. When you say y'all with an English accent, it sounds so weird. It has to be y'all. Frustration. I heard an American say vehicle today. That's the weirdest. Can you say it, please, Jacob? Vehicle. Yeah, this vehicle. Guy's listening to vehicle. He
vehicle.
Really
yeah, you gotta put that little. Yeah.
I know. Thought it was ill. Anyway, frustration. I'm with you, but gee whiz, it was a good competitive game. That was an amazing. As a neutral, because I know Chelsea fans and Liverpool fans couldn't watch it, engrossing it. As a neutral, it was sensational to watch. I actually thought it was quite a high quality game, barring a couple of mistakes. It was a really high quality game of football. Bro, you're overdoing it. Saka was good. I don't understand your agenda against Saka. Give Spurs credit. It's a derby. Spurs good. Chill. I think that's probably a fair assessment. Arsenal fans were celebrating the Rodri is out. They ain't going to make no difference, blood. City are smacking you up. Back at man, just say blood. No one says that in 2023, bruv. Didn't you not watch Brotherhood? You know what I mean? When Stormzy and the man them laughed at it, bruv. It's out now. It's not cool. According to the kids, Troops settings. You did an impression to Troops. There we go. It's weird. Spurs fans are happy with a draw. Levels, bro. Come on. Arsenal fans are upset. Spurs fans are happy with a damn draw, is what Brian says here. Garrett's back again and says, this game doesn't make sense. It wasn't as if Spurs were making outrageous plays or playing us off the park. All of our touches were just horrible and our style of play went wayward because of it. Felt like Arsenal lost mentality. Some of it was mentality, but some of it was forced by what Spurs were doing to you with the pressing. Also, when good quality meets good quality, it generally creates the games often get decided by little mistakes that are forced through pressure. That's how I typically saw it. But again, people feel different about their own team because they're emotive. But I thought both teams were good today. In spells, both had bad moments as well. I loved it. It was great. Oh, come on, Egal. I just turned in. Why are you running? African meme. I don't know that meme. Why are you running? Everyone on the terrace ain't nowhere else to go. Of course, there's no other channel to go to but here. Stephanie Saunders says, I knew that this game would not be easy, as most Arsenal fans made out it would be. And I was right. Absolute garbage play is what Stephanie says. Thank you, Steph. It's okay, Arsenal fans. It's phase 5.7, like the new iOS update. Tim Cook settings, and then, man, young team still growing, blah, blah, blah. Jerome here says nerves and the atmosphere got to our players, but once they calmed down, they played Ange ball. It was kangaroosing. Kangaroosing sauce. Is that what expression said? Kangaroosing. Shit, that's funny. Lol, I love this. Keep it up, Spurs. I love this. And yes, let's have a meltdown like everyone wants. Reactionary fan base. Maddison 100 times better player. Okay, no problem. Let's see that throughout the course of the season. I've still got like 24 more super chats because my community here is the best community on socials. Keep it in like buttons. I do want to change the subject slightly though, people, because Chelsea lost again today.
I thought you were going to come and talk about Liverpool, man.
Liverpool's going to feature, but Chelsea lost again. 39 points from their last 38 Premier League games. Matty's here with us. Matty's here. Matty's a Chelsea fan. Talk to us, bro.
Where do I start? What project is this? The Project Titanic, where we start putting $1 billion on the table and then it all goes dramatically downhill. Like, I mean, who is this owner? We got rid of Tuchel, we got in Potter, we brought in flipping Lampard to the end of the season, and now we're bringing bottle job Poch. Like, what is this club? Like,
can you do me a favor? Look at the camera, please.
What was inspiring with what we've got? You know, what's inspiring? It's just insane, Terry. It really is. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say. That is all I'm going to say. We are absolutely appalling.
About your manager, about Poch. Do you think any of this is on him? Do you think he needs to go, or is this a bigger, deeper problem, and you need to stick with the manager, be patient, and let him work?
Well, I'd be all right if he played players in the right positions, and he actually played a striker, but none of them are playing in the right positions. So why should we give a manager time that's literally, we were doing so well in the preseason. That was what made me laugh. We were doing so well in the preseason, and it just seems to have disintegrated. So I just don't understand where all this momentum has gone from the preseason to this point. So God only knows. But as I said to you, Terry, I was on the show. The last time I was on your show was a couple of months ago when we sacked Graham Potter. And I said that the right manager needed to be right. And this manager isn't right. He still isn't right. So we need to, in my humble opinion, the board need to go back again. We don't need to spend another $1 billion because we clearly can't spend $1 billion on the right players. And for me, we need to kind of go back to the drawing board because the only decent signing that we've signed was Enzo Fernandez, and he was taken off. So what was the point? I agree with Egal. We are a mess. And I don't like to agree with Egal, but we are a mess right now. So,
Mate, you absolutely are. I want to let the viewers know Don isn't here today, not because he bottled it. He went to the game. So genuinely, I remember he told me the other day, I forgot. So I shouldn't have called him out. I don't know where David is. All the other guys in the group, the gems of all the Chelsea fans, all in the group chats, they've all been sent the link. But I don't know where the man are. I think they're especially my club's had a bad start to the season, but they were trying to tell me they're in a better position than us the other day. I'm like, bruv, we got 3 times as many wins as you this season. Like, we ain't even good, but we ain't.
You know what's funny, Terry?
Like, we're not as bad as you. Like, Chelsea make me happy because even though my team's so bad, It's crazy.
Do you know
I
what's
do not
funny?
accept that. I would not accept that. So yeah, I've
What's
said we were a
funny,
mess for a while.
This B-Tech, I'm going to say as it is, it's a B-Tech Red Bull model. They're trying to do what Red
Yeah.
Bull do, but they can't even do it properly. At least Red Bull actually win games and actually win trophies. At least Salzburg wins league titles. Leipzig win DFB Pokals. These guys can't even buy a game. And I heard the whole summer, we own Liverpool. We took Lavia from them. We took Caicedo. Look what good that's doing to you now. Because my man Kai Spice, I'm going to call him Kai Spice, is dropping stinker after stinker. You man need goals. And then you spend £45 million on an unproven Cole Palmer. Doesn't it say anything that, City's letting a so-called rival take one of their young prospects? It's either they don't rate them that highly or they don't rate you that highly. It's one or the other. And I think it's a bit of both. Because right now, you guys thought, we can spend money here. Let's do a career mode team. We buy all the best young players, make them all fit. And it's just blown up on your face. It seriously has. We all told you this. Liverpool fans told you this. City, Arsenal fans, even some United fans also told you this don't work. Buying all these young kids who in some way don't really fit together with no vision of what you're trying to do is going to backfire. And look
Ram,
what's
I
happened.
said exactly the same thing, mate. I said exactly the same.
It's not directed to you. It's more of a message to the people like Don, people like Jem, and people like that who want to live in coward cuckoo land and think that, everything's rosy, everything will be better. No, it's not. Your team doesn't function properly. All the players you bought don't work. And we've been telling you this. And yet, if you want to bury your heads in the sand, be my guest. But we're just trying to help you out here. I mean, they are Banter Club FC. They want to dish out banter because they stole a couple of players from other teams.
In my opinion, Bowley's looked at FM Wonder Kids and then just went, do you know what? We're going to buy a load of them. That's what I reckon he's done. It's absolutely ridiculous. You know, I've said for a while that we've lived in cloud cuckoo land with this ownership. There's no winning mentality to any of it. So, you know, I mean, we brought in a bottle job as a manager. When is this going to stop? Like, I don't understand.
Honestly, has he a bottle job as a manager? He got a young Spurs team to the Champions League final. Really?
Well, the proof of the pudding's in the eating there, isn't there? Because I mean, let's face it, he didn't win the thing, did he? Right? And look what he's doing to look what he's doing look what he's done to Chelsea. Look what he did to PSG. So you know, he's hardly done anything to warrant this world-class title that some of these Spurs fans keep branding.
But he has done well with young players, and that's the profile of players you guys have brought in. So it's not like he's totally unproven in this specific arena. But the issue is that Chelsea have tried to do a little bit too much too fast, and it's a pretty high-risk strategy, man, because, look, you've spent a lot of money. If, for example, you don't get Champions League, which right now I think you're out of it, because I don't see you making up 10, 11 points or whatever it is on the other top 5 rivals.
I completely disagree. I completely disagree with that whole statement, and I've said this before at the beginning of the season. Everyone's basing what Pochettino has done on years ago. Like I'm a fight fan, right? If a fighter's been out of the ring for a significant period of time, you can't expect that fighter to come back into the ring and be just where he left off. Tottenham was a long time ago. His stint at PSG wasn't great. So for me, I've looked at this whole Pochettino coming in and he does well with kids.
It's not the
but
same
how many seasons ago was that?
A fighter loses.
It's the same criticism
that's not the same. But this doesn't.
It is the same thing.
Being a manager relies on management principles. It's not about taking a punch. It's a totally different scenario.
No, but I'm just talking. It's in general. You're only as good as where you've been. No one knows how he's evolved or if he's still at the same.
Can I just say something?
To use your analogy, you need to have the best trainers in place to actually make you a proper fighter.
Can I just say
Chelsea
something?
and PSG are
it's the time away from the sport.
Two models that don't function properly because look at the players that they're signing. They did it last season and it fell flat. PSG already know what they're about. They win their league every single season, barring that season where Lille won it. But that's a given. They always flop in the Champions League, and that's been going on for however many years. So you can't. I have a lot of sympathy for Pochettino because of the fact that the tools that he's been given by Chelsea is a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. I really do think that.
Can I just say something now?
We can only expect him to work on where he's been recently, and we haven't seen him do what he's done at Tottenham for a significant period of time. Now you can hope that he can recreate what he's done at Tottenham, but he hasn't done that in a significant period of time, right? So naturally speaking, I had apprehensions going into it, thinking, all right, he did well at Tottenham, but that was how many years ago? Does he still have it? His Tottenham spell didn't end on great terms. The team declined.
I think you made a great point. I want to touch on what you said there, though, Rack. I think which is so, and we are, by the way, viewers, we're touching on Chelsea now. We'll touch a bit on Liverpool, but we'll go into these teams in far more detail tomorrow on the Top 6 show. The link for that show is already up. I want you all back here at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Don Hussam is going to be on, I believe. So I want you on here tomorrow at 6 p.m. Make sure you're all ready. But something you said that stood out massively to me there, Rack, is their season is almost over. The top 5 teams can be in the Champions League this year. I think we all know that. There's 9 points currently off that position. The problem they've got, if the likes of Villa, West Ham, Newcastle that are going to win today, United win a couple more games in the next few weeks, and they don't, they could end up being 9 to 10 to 11 points away from 9th, which then means if you're aiming for a Champions League place, which they need financially, it means you then need to claw back a 9 to 10 point deficit over 4 to 5 teams. And it's mathematically possible, but the probability of all those teams being 9, 10, 11 points worse than you for the remainder of the season becomes almost an impossibility. Almost an impossibility for 4 or 5 teams to lose 5 or 6 games more than you and for you to win all those matches. If they don't win the next 2 or 3 games, Chelsea, their season from a league perspective, I didn't even think about it. You said it, Rack. I just looked at it then when you were talking. It's over. Done. The season is done. The season could be done by game week 10. Winter Surface here, who is a Chelsea fan, are you worried about that the season, in terms of what you achieved this season, could already be done?
Yeah. I've got no sympathy for Poch. He knew what he was signing up for. He knew what we were going for, sub profile and stuff like that. He doesn't play players in their positions. His subs were weird today. I can understand, he needed to make a sub because he went down to 10 men. He put Mudryk off, who was the best player, and he left Sterling on, who had a stinker. But then he took Jackson off, and we left Cole Palmer and Sterling up. But then he got Broha on to try and get something. He keeps persisting with Gallagher for some reason. He keeps persisting with Cole at left back, and he's never played left back in his senior career until now. Keeps playing Thiago Silva, who's having a stinker, but no one in the Chelsea fan base likes to diss Thiago Silva. So that's I mean, it's just, and I'm not even bringing up injuries because injuries is not an excuse today. We've had this. We can't finish, Terry. Cannot finish any efforts whatsoever. We had the chances today and we didn't take them as usual. It's not just this is like, I've told you, this has been since about 2017. We can't score goals. We just can't do it. And whenever now 1-0, if you go down 1-0 against us, or if we go 1-0 down against anyone, that's curtains. Because who's gonna drag us back?
I agree. As soon as they scored, I mean, you're already down to 10 men. There was just no way back on this. In terms of these super chats here, I'm not trying to rush everybody. It's just that I have dinner at 6 o'clock and I've got to be there as I get in trouble. I'm 37, but it can't be late for dad. Do you know what I mean? Egal called this Chelsea decline. Why were you guys telling him he was wrong? Also, as a gooner, I was not in agreement with your Spurs slander all summer, Terry. And just cook him. Yeah, I think Egal has been so right about Chelsea, and we can give him credit for that. And that's just the way it is.
Egal comes, no. Egal's got this thing with Chelsea. You remember when he came on, we were in the Club World Cup? He quoted the wrong Wikipedia quote.
No, I know. Look, what I was thinking, in terms of Egal's assessment of what you guys are trying to build, he's right about that, and I'll give him credit for that. In terms of the other part of the super chat around not agreeing, yes, listen, I've already said that I've got it wrong about Big Ange, and I hold my hands up. And like I've said, if any YouTuber thinks they're right about everything, they're wrong. Like, they're wrong about that. We all get predictions wrong. It is what it is, my friend. I don't claim I might have a big following, but that isn't, in my opinion, because I have a superior knowledge to anybody else. I never claim to. I don't believe I'm any more important than you, super chatting, or people that are just sitting there listening without commenting. It's just I've got a bigger mouth, maybe. It took the Glazers 18 years to destroy United. Bowley did Chelsea in less than 2 years. Outstanding stuff. Losing 1-0 at home against Aston Villa. Spursy Poch to relegate Chelsea. Can you imagine? He'd get a Spurs statue then, wouldn't he, boys?
Absolutely.
In fairness, he might
right
get
in front of Stamford Bridge.
He might get one. If he relegated Chelsea, he might get one outside White Hart Lane, the Emirates, and Millwall's ground. He might get 3 trophies in London if he does that.
That'd be the only Spurs trophy they've won in a while.
I'll take it though. There it is. There's the tears.
That's a great bit of slander. All on Poch, stop scapegoating the board. Interesting. How about we start with 1 billion spent and then bring our manager where he is still angry about the Battle of the Bridge. Agent Poch, we love you. Is what Jerome says. Losing. Okay. Thank you very much. That's the same super chat. Already done that one. Thank you. We got when we get relegated, I will be here for it. I can't see him getting relegated, but genuinely, I still think you'll turn it around. But even if you don't, Luton, Sheffield United, Bournemouth, all these teams are so much worse. Like, you're just not going to go down. You're not going to go down. Dejan caught Zinni a lot, all 90. Yeah, he did. That right-hand side, he was great. Arteta relies on individual players and is better. Big claim that Postecoglou is better than Arteta. Do you agree with that, Harry? Very quickly, do you agree with that?
Absolutely. He can sing.
I knew you would. I knew you would. I knew you would. I knew you would.
You can call me deluded all you want, but it's the truth.
I love it. Spurs got caught a few times playing out the back in the first half. Spurs were threatening, not going to lie, but Arsenal need to be able to hold their ground against top 6 teams. I think that's another fair comment. Perspective and 3 months versus Arteta's 3 years. It's a good bit of banter, but again, let's see. It's also only 6-game sample size. People might work out what Ange's tactics are soon and put some measures in place. Can they then work through them? So you can look at it both ways. 130 years, no Champions Leagues, 30 years, no Premier League. What high standards this Arsenal team? 20 years, no Premier League. Let's get that right. Their fans celebrated Rodri's injury like they won the World Cup. Bottling it is their mentality. Thank you for that super chat, sir. People mistaking Tottenham's happiness with playing well and holding their own away in a derby when everyone doubted them for happiness with a draw. That's a great super chat. Arsenal competing for the title. Spurs happy with a draw. Ironic compared to the last one. Maddison had to come off because of that tackle on him. It wasn't a tackle, but yeah, hurt himself. That is probably what precautionary. Terry, you hating on Liverpool not to put those score lines. The reason the score line up there with this overlay, there's no room for it. And I'll be honest with you, I had a very heavy night and day at my brother's wedding yesterday. I did not have the energy to create a whole brand new thumbnail and reshape it. So overlay. So that's the only reason. And I did say at the start of the video, we will mention Liverpool today, but tomorrow is when we get the full focus on them. It ain't my fault the Premier League stupidly put 3 big teams on at the same time. Mugs.
That was crazy. I don't know. How did that happen? Like,
that's just down to the Europa League. They've always done that.
It's ironic. Yeah. It's because you and Villa are in Europe. So it moved the game. It's just they shouldn't have done it that way. They could have done it better.
I forgot about Villa.
I would take Bruno RVPS volley every day. I'd love him to do it every fucking week. United had J.E. and Maguire. Johnny Evans and Maguire, and we almost nicked it. This is true. He was great yesterday, Johnny Evans. Did you see that pass from him? He passed the ball like Zidane once. Spurs fans celebrating a draw and Arsenal fans losing it is what Pete Kenny says. Spurs fans celebrate a 2-2 like we won the Premier League at White Hart Lane. The Arsenal fans are coming for you, boys. First half, you had 60% possession in your own half. 30 minutes into the game, you had 3 touches in our box to our 19. We let you have the ball and pressed. Jacob's gone now. He ain't going to challenge that. Most of the Spurs guys left have agreed with that, I think. That Vato looks like Hansen.
He's talking about Jacob.
Ah, okay, cool.
With the hair and all that.
I know what that means, and there we go. This loss is on Arsenal. We missed 2 sitters in the first half, and then the Jesus chance came by Maddison's mistake. Our individual errors cost us. The second half, they had the ball because we lost Rice. That's 100 million player injured. Liverpool, we'll come back to Liverpool one and we'll speak about it for a second. Spurs acting like they won another Audi Cup. Even a book has a title and Spurs don't.
Can I say something? Because this
Yeah, of
Arsenal
course.
stuff is getting boring. They're all repeating the same thing. Spurs fans acting like they won. No one gave us a cat's chance in hell. Away at the Emirates, massive game. We haven't won there, and you all know the stats. And the fact is, we deserved the draw, and we played the way we wanted to play. So that's why we're excited. 6 games in as well, as opposed to your 3. Like, put some context behind it. It's not like we sat 10 men behind the ball, and we just about edged or scraped a dodgy or dubious draw. We played well, deserved it. And just give us some credit instead of the saying, "Oh, you guys are celebrating." And it's like you can't be happy about a result anymore. Away against a big 6 club, Arsenal are one of the best teams in the country. Let's all be honest, and we got something out of it. Why would we not be happy?
No, exactly. Celebrate 100%. Spurs Park the bus. They didn't lose at the Emirates Trophy, like the finish above us for 6 years and won no trophies. Today, it was charity letting our smaller rivals get a draw. This here says Arsenal went and handled all those contracts out to a team who's won nothing, 93% on top blood. The whole team has ozilitis, no antidote. It's an interesting take. Maybe if they keep on this rail. We are celebrating as Spurs fans because we all had to listen all week to Arsenal fans claiming they'd smash and destroy Ange Ball and Sonaldo W. Hear you on that. This super chat here says Liverpool are now 18 games unbeaten and Salah has a goal involvement in 12 consecutive games. GOAT. I don't think we are title challengers yet, but how many more results do Paul need to win to change your minds? I think they're in a title. Personally, I think you'll be in the title race now. Whether winning the league will come down to not conceding as many opportunities as you still do, and the fact that City are just so bloody good. But I think you're going to push them. I really do think Liverpool are going to push them. What do you boys think, Liverpool fans?
I'm not too sure just yet. I mean, it's still very early in the season. I think we can only have a proper outlook if we talk about this in December, and we are still thereabouts, in my opinion. I did the same thing with Arsenal last season, so I'm going to do the same thing for my club. I still think, even though we had a convincing result in terms of it was 3-1, I'm still not convinced by the performances. For the most part of the first half, I thought we were second best. I thought West Ham had a good piece of opportunities. I think Antonio had a good header. Bowen had a chance. Souček also had a chance. Thankfully, Alisson did his thing and saved a couple of them shots. But off the run of play, we got our goal. But again, my main worry is we keep on conceding good chances for our positions, and if they don't score, if Alisson has to make a world-class save, then I'm not going to be too convinced about us. I think with the players that we've got, and even when we're going forward, we do work in moments, and I still think there needs to be a little bit of consistency with us in our performances. The only good game that I would say that we had was Aston Villa. Everything else was more or less okay. I wouldn't say it was a good game. In my opinion. But look, I'm happy with the result. I'm really, really happy with the result. But again, it's a bit too early to say that we're challenging at this moment in time.
Did you just say we need a bit more consistency? Come on, man. I taught you better than this. Daddy's back. Like, what are you talking about?
No, man. I'm still not convinced. I'm still not convinced. I'm still not convinced.
What are you on about? We've got the best unbeaten run in the top 5 leagues. Correct me if I'm wrong. Not been beaten since April, and it was against Manchester City. Yes, we were terrible last season. All I've seen is rivals, Arsenal fans especially, because they had one great season, suddenly come to the party. Oh, this person's better than this person. This Arsenal team last season's better than the 21-22 Liverpool team, better than the title team, yada, yada, yada. And I've just heard this nonsense constantly. Like, we've gone under the radar in the summer, under the radar, beginning of the season, under the radar. We're 2 points behind Manchester City. I'm saying it with chest. I think we'll finish above Arsenal this season. I know full well, and Liverpool fans will back me up on this, in order to challenge Manchester City, it's a mentality thing. And you look at Arsenal this season, they don't look the same. Regardless of whether they should have gone on and won the game or whatever most Arsenal fans were talking about, right? It's a lot to challenge Manchester City, and it takes it out of you. And I think that them getting beat to the title last season in the way that they did, so close, and then just suddenly it became a bigger and bigger gap towards the last couple of games. I think Arsenal are going to struggle, and rival fans keep writing Liverpool off. This is when we somehow come and prove everyone wrong. So keep writing us off, and Ram, I taught you better than that, bro. Don't say consistency. We're the most consistent team at the minute.
I'm not gonna. My eyes are telling me that it's still not convincing. I'm not.
It doesn't
convinced
matter.
by it.
You got the best collection of attackers in the league.
I know,
They
but
will
we
get
have,
you out
but we're
every
still
game.
conceding chances. We're
Yeah,
still
but it
not
doesn't-
controlling
yeah, but
games.
the thing
With the
is, though,
players
you
that
can-
with the players of like McAllister, Soboslai, and players like that, we should be controlling games. But
And
we're
this
not.
is my point.
I'm happy with the results, no doubt
And
about it.
this-
But
and
I'm not
this
looking
is
at it
my
from an
point,
Arsenal
though.
perspective. I'm looking at Man City, and we're not there yet.
Because
We're not
they're
there
a
yet.
settled
Maybe a year
team.
before.
They've got a settled spine. We haven't. We rebuilt our whole midfield, and we're still only 2 points behind them when no one gave us a chance at the beginning of the season. That's Klopp. Look at the substitutions in the season. Klopp, the points that we've won. This big decisions by Klopp. Klopp's got the fire back, you can tell. The way that he celebrated that result today, the way he ran over to the Kop and he's doing the fist pumps again. He's fired up this season. And my point is, we've not got a settled spine. We've not. We've had Van Dijk out. Konate's been out injured again. I thought Matip and Gomez were excellent again. They had to come in against Newcastle in the most difficult of circumstances. And yet we still don't know what our best 11 is in terms of the front line, in terms of the midfield, in terms of the defence. And we're still picking up points. Performances will come.
Yep.
The fact that we're still picking up points is a massive statement and something which a lot of rival fans need to click onto.
Yeah,
Rack, do you agree with this, mate? Just out of interest, I've got like a couple of minutes and I have to go. Like dinner's going to get cold.
No worries.
I'm going to get grounded. I'm going to get grounded.
I'll be quick. There's something. I'm somewhere in between the two because I think there has been something left a bit lacking in performances in the first half, but I think that's also down to teams knowing we don't always start fast and they put it on us from the start. But in the second half, you saw we controlled it much better. Like in the second half, West Ham, they had a Bowen header, and that was about it, right? We were much better, much more controlled, and dominate the play, create obviously the better chances, and obviously won the game in the second half. So overall, I'm a little bit somewhere between the two. I think I would like us to carry on in this vein, and maybe look at bringing in a player or two to help us solidify that midfield, defensive midfield. I think should have been strengthened, and we need that. But who knows? Like let's just try our best and see where it goes, because we can be one of the best teams in the league for sure.
No doubt. This super chat says Chelsea need to defeat City twice this season to have any chance of a title win. They can take care of other teams, but matches against City heads are the ones that will make a difference. It's a fair point. We Liverpool need to keep it together until January and sign a DM and centre back. I agree. We are still conceding chances and need to control games. FSG still out. This comes from Colton Conroy, that says a draw was fair. Spurs starts hot with a new manager again. We've seen this movie before. Let's see at the year's end. Eddie upgraded, needed in January, i.e. Tony. And where's that guy on here who said it would be the easiest game? He was here earlier. He left. He said the internet was playing up and he left. Pinocchio knows coming out there. Man's had less sense than Saka's had stealing Maddison's celebration. But there we go. Look, I want
help. Just one quick thing. Next couple of games is going to be crucial for us because I think it will be a really good barometer. We've got Brighton away and we've got Spurs away. Spurs first, then Brighton. So
you win those,
those
two games, and then suddenly, again, I think that's when rivals are like, oh, damn, they're for real. And that's the issue with the opening 5 or 6 matches. You haven't played enough of a mixture of all the quality yet for anyone for everyone to be taken seriously. But I think people should. Like, I want to thank my viewers today. You've been amazing. The super chatters, everyone who's hit the like button. I genuinely love you. Please hit the like button before you go. And 6 p.m. tomorrow, we're back for the Top 6 show. So make sure you're tuning in. I think it's going to be an epic one where we're going to digest the weekend's football, preview the League Cup games as well. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. I'm off to go and eat a roast dinner, and I'll see you all in a bit.